What's up, Buttercup? Welcome back to my channel. Today's book tag is the end of the year book tag for 2023, which was a bit of a hot mess for me, and I'm sure for many other people. Basically, the last 3 years, probably 4 years, has not been great for the majority of people out there. I was not tagged by anyone. I'm rebellious like that. Now, these are a lot of questions, so buckle up, get some tea or coffee, whatever you need to get through the day of New Year's Eve, and probably New Year's Day if you party like a rock star in a couple hours. I guess I'm your cozy watch before you party all night long, and I appreciate that. Now, the first is the most disappointing read of the year, and that was Tender as the Flesh. That was 1 star, and the plot holes were so massive. I can't. Number 2, the underdog book of the year, and I'm gonna go with Mayfly by CJ Lead because it's new. It was released in like maybe September, but I'm pretty sure in October. Debut author. And it does not read like, to me personally, like a debut. Loved it. Mayfly is in my top 10 best books of 2023. I did a video on it, and I look forward to other books by her. And I think which was really funny, I don't know why, there are so many people on Goodreads complaining that it was too graphic, but it's a horror book. So I don't get it. It's kind of like a traditionally published version of Splatterpunk. I appreciate it. It also has Disney and serial killers. So yes, yes. Please pick that up because it is an underdog. It was getting flack for a while. I don't know if it is now, but we need to show that underdog that it can be the top dog. Is that a phrase used? I don't even know, but just go read it. Anyway, number 3, a book that was overhyped. Sorry, for a second I could not read my handwriting. I'm gonna go with The 4 Winds by Kristen Hanna. Yeah, that was a 2-star read for me. It was extremely depressing, and the writing was not good enough. And so I do know that someone might say, well, the Dust Bowl was depressing. And I'm like, yes, thank you, I do know history. However, for many readers, including myself, you have to have a glimmer of hope, a glimmer of possibly overcoming one thing, maybe 2, right? But there was nothing at all. And you can only read so much of that in a huge ass book. And I was like, I can't do it anymore. I got far enough where it was just like, girl, I write historical fiction. I get it. The past was damn well depressing, but a glimmer of hope would be nice. Number 4, favorite book couple of the year. And I'm going to go with an indie book, Iago Wick and Dante Lovelace from the Lovelace and Wick trilogy. Love to see it. Love that book series. I do recommend it. Number 5, favorite main character of the year. I'm gonna go with Demon from Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I have probably said that book title and that author so many times this year, but it's worth it. Please pick it up. I love Demon. His real name's Damon. So if I switch back and forth, it's because I'm just spacing. It's fine. And he's usually referred to as Demon anyway. But that is a retelling of David Copperfield, and at first I was like, is this gonna work? And it did. It's also in my top 10 best books of the year. It's number 2. Number 6 A book that surprised you, and I'm gonna go with Rosemary's Baby by Ira Levin. I didn't think that it would be 5 stars. I was like, maybe 4, I don't know. Because I've heard of this book many times. I've been spoiled of like the ending and all that stuff. But it was a ride. It was an absolute ride. And the suspense buildup was amazing. So that's also in my top 10 best books of 2023. Number 7, your new favorite authors of this year. And I guess one counts and the other might or might not count, but I'm going with it. I'm gonna say Barbara Kingsolver and Ira Levin. And as a bonus, I'll say Heather Fawcett because she wrote my number 1 best book of 2023, and that was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Speaking of Heather Fawcett, number 8 is the happiest read of the year. Not necessarily like it was all daisies, unicorn farts, and rainbows happy, like the book itself, but Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies was just so satisfying and cozy, and what I exactly needed at that time when I read it, that it's therefore the happiest book on earth for me personally. Number 9, what is the most frustrating book you read? I'm gonna go with Womb. Please take an Anatomy 101 class. That's all I'm gonna say. I read that book in full, so I could be able to say that. Number 10, best adaptation of the new year. And I don't think I have read or watched any adaptations. Number 11, the longest book you read. It would probably be Demon Copperhead, but like as kind of sort of finishing a whole series, that would be Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, and that's 9 books, 8 books. I don't even know anymore. And like the last book that I recently read, it was like 900 pages. The whole series just gets thicker and thicker as you go on. So I'm counting it because, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've stuck through that whole series, considering the length of each book just continually getting larger, and then also like the problems that I have with it. But I am invested because it's just there. I don't even know. Number 12. What's the shortest book I read in 2023? And that's a short story. To a Mouse by Robert Burns. It was so cute. Guess what it's about? A mouse. Yes, okay. Number 13 is favorite covers of 2023, and we're gonna just go through a list, okay? Demon Copperhead, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, Murder in Williamstown, Obsidian Murders, my book, yeah, I said it. Mayfly, Hellbent, Under the Whispering Door, Legends and Lattes, Bookshops and Bone Dust, and I think that's it. Yeah. Yes. I had to think about it. That was a long list, but there are some great covers out there, I'm gonna have to say. Number 14, a book you haven't stopped thinking about. And Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I'm excited for the next book because then I can stop repeating it. Because I'm sure there are some viewers that are like, Nicole, pick another damn book. I'm sick of it. For 15, what's the cringiest book this year? And I'm going to have to say The Visitor. I was editing it, not reading it, up to like page 35 of then I gave up on it and DNF'd it, and I did not rate it because there were so many typos on basically every single page. I don't understand, truly, I don't understand how that book has so many reads and reviews, and a lot of them are not pointing out all of the typos. Like, it needed a good edit, or 5. I'm not an editor. I edit my stuff and then I send it to my editor, right? So there's a disconnect going on there with The Visitor specifically. And at a certain point, when you're like, I think The Visitor has like over 1,000 or maybe 2,000 reviews. Unless you gave out like 1,000 copies or more, you have made some money. You made something. So make it a second edition after you get an editor. That's all I can say. Number 16, an unpopular book that you loved. And I'm going to go with Thigh Gap by Chandler Morrison. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I can see why it's unpopular because it's about eating disorders and that's very difficult. And it's also splatterpunk, and the cover can be, and it probably is for lots of people, very triggering for EDs. So it's not one of his most well-known books, probably not the most read either, even though it's relatively new, but I understand why. Though I think he handled EDs and the female main character very well, and I appreciate that. Number 17, what's the highest and lowest books you read this year, and do I agree on them? Demon Copperhead was the highest rated. I think it's like 4.7. No, not that high. Wouldn't that be nice? I think it's 4.5 as I last checked. And then the lowest is The Visitor, and I think that's like 3.2 or 3.3, which I still think it's kind of amazing. And yes, I do agree with those ratings overall. There's so many for Demon Copperhead, and it's really hard to stay above like 4.2 or like even 4 stars on Goodreads. So that would indicate to me personally that Barbara has created a fantastic book. And I know for The Visitor, a lot of people lately, so maybe he did give away books, or oh wait, no, I think someone or multiple people talked about The Visitor on Book Talk, and maybe that's where there was a big spike of newer reviews. And I have noticed lately that people were saying there's a lot of typos in here. At least I'm not the only one that noticed that. Number 18, favorite quote of the year. I don't know really what that means. I don't pay attention to quotes. Number 19, book with the most unique concept. And I'm gonna go with Stiff by Mary Roach, because she went around the country and also into other countries to talk about human cadavers. And that was an interesting nonfiction book that I read this year for Nonfiction November. Number 20, books that I've reread this year, and I do not reread ever, but let's say hypothetically, I actually would reread Demon Copperhead and the Emily Wilde book, and I would probably reread, hypothetically, The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, and Mayfly. Number 21, reading goal reflection and the 2024 reading goal. I'm gonna go with 33 books for 2024. Why? Because I surpassed my 70 books that I said I was going to read in 2023. And the number of books at this point that I've read doesn't matter to me right now. I'm like, I don't even know, like the last I checked, I was like 178 or something. It doesn't, I don't really care about the number anymore, because I completely surpassed that 70 books mark for this year. So I am going with 33 because 3 is my favorite number, but I'm not going to go with 333 because no, that's crazy. So I'm going with 33. Does that make sense? I don't know, but it's fine. 22. After the 2023 reading, what are you prioritizing in 2024? And I'm gonna go for fun, interesting books per usual. I'm not that complicated when it comes to books, especially because the past few years have been stressful. In 2024, I have no idea what that's going to look like, so I'm going with fun. I'm going with the mood. I'm going with entertainment, and that doesn't mean that I'm not going to read serious books, because I always do, but shorter books, cozy books. Now, to tag people, I'm going to tag Bad is Rad, The Secret of Nim, Bookish Cads, Chris Reviews, and Book Blather, though I know that there are other tags going on about like wrap up reading for 2023, so if you've already done a similar tag, you don't need to do my tag. It's totally fine. Like, I'm just tagging someone so I don't look silly. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video in 2024. Wow, it happened, people. Here we are. Thank you so much, and Happy New Year. I'll see you in the next video.